My name is Georgia. I am 68 years old, and I have been a widow for the past 7 years. After my husband passed away, I thought peace would come into my life, but my reality was something else entirely. My son Ryan and my daughter-in-law Dana always made my love and sacrifices the center of their lives. Every little desire, every small expense, every comfort they took from me, and I never hesitated. I thought it was just love. Last night, Dana said in front of her friends, "Mom is only good for paying our bills, nothing else." And Ryan laughed at it, as if it were the funniest joke in the world. My heart broke. That was the moment I realized that my love and sacrifices meant nothing. I thought, yesterday's event showed me the truth. I was only an ATM, not a mother. Yesterday morning, Ryan and Dana went to the restaurant. They were happy, having chosen the expensive Crestview Grill to impress Dana's mother. But I had planned everything the night before. All 5 cards were canceled, the ones that were always available for their convenience. At 3 in the morning, after completing my full plan, I made this decision. Now I will live life for myself. Whatever problems they face, they must solve themselves. I am not just an ATM. At the restaurant, the moment they tried to use the cards, the atmosphere changed. Ryan called, his voice shaking. "Mom, the cards aren't working. We're at the Crestview Grill. People are watching us." I said calmly, "Now I am your mother, not your bank, Ryan." He was shocked, confused, and embarrassed. Dana also picked up the phone but couldn't say anything. She was facing the reality she had avoided for years. Instead of calling me for help, Ryan called my sister Elaine. "Elaine, I need to talk. Mom canceled the cards." Elaine said, "Georgia, isn't this unusual for you? You've always been so generous." I listened silently. There was surprise in Elaine's voice, but I felt that the world did not understand my sacrifices. I remembered what I had done over the past 10 years. When Ryan lost his job, I paid his rent for 8 months. $3,000 for Dana's wardrobe renovation. $5,000 for a Honolulu vacation. They never invited me. $15,000 for the car down payment. 2 years of my savings I gave. Every time I gave calmly, every time I put myself aside. And they didn't even say thank you. After hanging up the phone for the first time in my life, I felt that I was making decisions for myself. Ryan and Dana's worry was no longer mine. My peace was mine. I made coffee, sat on the back patio, and for the first time felt ownership of my own world. Now I knew that every call, every demand from them, could no longer affect my emotions. I knew this was not over. They would now try new tactics after the restaurant. Outside the restaurant, Ryan's car was parked by the curb. The engine was off, but the silence inside the car was no less than a storm. Dana's eyes were red, but the tears weren't from embarrassment, they were from anger. Ryan gripped the steering wheel tightly, as if letting go would make everything fall apart. "This is all because of your mother," Dana said through gritted teeth. "In front of me, in front of my mother, in front of everyone, she humiliated us." Ryan didn't reply. He knew. This didn't happen suddenly. It was the result of years of carelessness, indifference, and greed. A few moments later, Ryan took a deep breath and picked up his phone. This time he didn't call his mother. He dialed his sister Elaine's number. "Elaine, we need help." His voice lacked the confidence it usually had. "Mom has shut everything down. The cards, the accounts, everything." Elaine was silent for a few seconds. Then she spoke softly. "Ryan, have you ever thought about why she did this? Now is not the time for philosophy." Ryan snapped. "We were stuck in the restaurant, had to pay Dana's mom. It was humiliating." Elaine replied firmly. "And have you ever thought about how many times Mom had to hide her own shame when you asked her for money?" Ryan went silent. It was the first time someone had held a mirror up to him. Later that afternoon, Ryan and Dana arrived at my house. The knocking at the door was soft at first, then turned into impatience. "Mom, let us in. Stop this childish behavior." I was sitting in the back patio, feeding the birds. The noise at the door no longer affected me. Dana's voice grew bitter. "What you've done will have consequences." I smiled and took a sip of coffee. Consequences? I had been enduring the consequences of their actions for years. Ryan's voice softened from the other side of the door. "Mom, please. We can sit down and talk." You shouldn't have shut everything down like this. I said quietly in my heart. And you shouldn't have used me like this. But I didn't open the door. Because once I opened it, the old game would start again. By evening, the phone started ringing. First it was Dana's mother. Then relatives. Then my sister Elaine again. Georgia, Elaine said softly. People are talking. They say you abandoned your son. I replied calmly. Elaine, I didn't abandon my son. I saved myself. Elaine was silent. Perhaps for the first time she was beginning to understand. After that day, Ryan and Dana couldn't face anyone directly. Those in front of whom they lived like the rich and powerful now had seen the truth. And the truth was, they were not standing on their own feet. That night I sat in my bedroom looking out the window. My heart was light. No fear. No guilt. For the first time I realized, being a mother is about sacrifice, but it is not about erasing yourself. The next few days passed in an unusual silence. No calls from Ryan, no screams from Dana, no knocking at the door. But I knew this silence was temporary. Dana was not the type to give up easily. On the 5th morning, an envelope arrived in the mail. It bore the name of a lawyer. I opened it and for a moment my hands froze. Dana had accused me of breaking family promises, intentionally causing financial harm, and inflicting emotional distress. I laughed, a bitter, tired yet strong laugh. I had given them everything for 10 years. And now I was the villain? That same day I met with a lawyer. She was a dignified woman around 50, with eyes reflecting experience. She looked over all the documents, listened quietly, then said, Georgia, you have done nothing illegal. You have only reclaimed control over your own resources. I asked softly, does being a mother mean I have to endure everything? She replied firmly, no. Being a mother does not mean erasing yourself. Her words sank deep into my heart. The day of the court arrived. I entered simply dressed, head held high. Ryan and Dana sat on the other side. Dana wore the same fake look of victimhood, and Ryan looked confused. The judge asked plainly, was the defendant legally obligated to continue financial support? Dana's lawyer made an emotional speech, using words like mother, family, sacrifice. Then it was my turn. I stood, hands trembling slightly, but my voice was strong. I gave help of my own free will. There was no contract. And when respect ends, so can support. The courtroom fell silent. The judge declared, the defendant has full control over her property and financial resources. No legal violation is proven. Dana's face turned pale. Ryan looked at me for the first time. There was no anger in his gaze, only shame. Outside the court, Ryan came close to me. Mom, we were wrong. I said softly. Not wrong, son. You made a choice. And today I made mine too. Dana remained silent. Perhaps for the first time she realized that not every door opens with money. A few months later I booked a small trip for myself. By the sea alone content. I bought new things. For myself. For my happiness. Ryan still called occasionally. The conversations were brief, cautious, yet honest. Now there was a boundary between us. And that boundary was necessary. I learned this. Love means sacrifice, not slavery. Family means respect, not exploitation. Being a mother does not mean forgetting yourself. If anyone in your life has ever treated your love as weakness, or only remembered you when they needed something, share your experience in the comments. Silence is not always patience. Sometimes silence is loyalty to yourself.